Hello everyone, and welcome back. Now for the 175th episode, we are going to discuss about Eleven, the main protagonist of Stranger Things. One of the most well-known and famous television characters to appear recently, Eleven, in my personal opinion, is simply put just the earliest example of the concept of superpower child. The superpower child trope that we have been already familiar for decades. And unlike most other superpower children who use their powers for selfish purposes, or even to become evil, Eleven uses it for good. And in this episode, we're going to discuss all that we know about her throughout the show, to understand Eleven and why she chose to save the world. And now, let's begin. The one we will come now to call Eleven was born in Hawkins, Indiana, USA, on June 7, 1971 towards her mother, Terry Ives, under the real name of Jane Ives. And upon her birth, she has been taken away from her own mother and been put to subjected and tested by the United States government through Dr. Martin Brenner as part of the Hockey's national lab to do her powers like telekinesis and telepathy. And pretty much Eleven has grown up alongside all the other superpowered children, and she was named as such given that her test subject number was 11. And sadly, the other kids weren't very fond of her. But there was one person, however, in the facility that was, let's say, at least a bit more friendlier than the others. Henry Creel, also known as 1 or 001, who is obviously the original test subject at Hawkins. And by circa around 1979, when Eleven herself was only 8 years old, Harry manipulated her to take out his inhibitor chip that allowed his powers to be unleashed. And upon his newfound freedom, he has slaughtered most of the lab except for Eleven, as Harry killed all the other children and the adults and doctors, etc., except for Eleven and Dr. Brenner, who survived. And as Henry explained to her his origin and the fact that he wants to escape to remake the world in his image, Eleven rejects him and they both have fought against one another to the point that Eleven overpowered him and opened a gate towards the Upside Down, an alternate reality where their power seems to come from, in which he has imprisoned Harry in it and pretty much seemingly killed him in the process. But for the entire massacre, Eleven has been mostly blamed on, and she has been put to massive torture subjected to torture by Dr. Brenner. And by 1983, Eleven managed to fully escape from Brenner while he sent his agents in order to capture her, as he wants to use Eleven's powers in order to spy on the Soviet Union. Throughout this time, two things happened. Is the fact that Eleven actually found real friends and a family of sorts to defend her, in Mike Weller, who became her boyfriend, Dustin Henderson, Lucas Sinclair, Max Mayfield, Will Byers, Johnny Byers, Nancy Weller, Steve Harrington, Robin Buckley, RG. All of these people have come together to help protect Eleven, and then with the fact that a threat has arrived into the Demogorgon, a monster from the Upside Down who escaped through a portal and came to attack the town. Eleven put him down out of his misery, and pretty much she saved the town. And now she has been adopted by a man known as Jim Hopper, and thus she legally changed her name into Jane Hopper, hopes to help to hide her further from Banner. And by 1984, the Mind Flayer, the supposed ruler of the Upside Down, escaped and possessed one of her friends, Will Byers. And so, he never managed to close another portal and helped to free Will from the Mind Flayer. But by 1985, the Mind Flayer came back and built for itself a physical body, a host of sorts made from the flesh from all the Floyd victims, in order to kill Eleven and her friends, and create a permanent portal between Earth and the Upside Down. And so Eleven managed to stop it as well. And now by 1986, a new threat has arisen in Vecna. The five-star general of the Mind Flayer, who is revealed to be her old acquaintance and enemy, Harry Creel, who has become Vecna. And so, Eleven, upon re-experiencing her memories and finding out the truth, she managed to stop Vecna, at least temporarily, at least to save her friend from absolute death. But sadly, Vecna still won as he got to open four small portals, they became a gigantic portal that bridged the gap between Earth and the Upside Down, and allowing these creatures to take over Hawkins. As now the US military have taken de facto control of the town to isolate those monstrosities. And now by 1987, Eleven and her friends train up to take down Vecna and to save all the children he has captured, and now vote to save humanity. And now before he continue, need to stop and ask, is Eleven a good person? And while it's an undeniable fact that she sailed to save the world multiple times, it should be noted here that Eleven herself is not perfect. She is timid, socially awkward, and extremely cautious around other people, as she pretty much has no problem in also hurting those who dare to bully or to manipulate her, and she did kill people throughout her life. But Eleven is absolutely a good person who is deeply empathetic, very protective of those she loves and cares about, and she genuinely cares about her friends and family. And while she is imperfect, she in the end helped to save humanity. And given the fact that she literally chose to sacrifice herself in the end to save everybody, proves to me that she is a wonderful sweetheart. And in the end, the answer is yes. She is a good person, and she is pretty much very close on being pure good. And in the end, she did it. She finally defeated Vecna and the Mind Flayer for good, saved the children, and caused the whole weirdness from the Upside Down to vanish. And throughout this process, she also chose to sacrifice herself and her life to vanish with it, and officially gave her friends a chance. But although it's implied possibly that she might have secretly survived. So in the end, who was Eleven? She was nothing more but a simple girl who was born with an immense power that became both a curse and a gift. A person that chose love and empathy over and over again in the face of cruelty and saved the world multiple times. And a person that could easily be called as one of the most memorable characters I have ever seen in television. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to give a like, share and subscribe everyone, and have a nice day.